devices slide. Stop now.
What's up, everybody? Activ8 Daily.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Activ8 Radio. And we are here to activate your mind while we entertain and educate. And I just got done with the Trifecta weekend, so Johnny and I are drinking some beer.
Cory, I gotta stop you, brother. I know you got a beer. I got one.
Cheers.
Too. Cheers, my friend. And for everybody who isn't aware of what Cory did an Olympic lifting meet on a Friday. He did a bodybuilding show on a Saturday, and he did a powerlifting meet today. And now we are celebrating his feat of hard work. It's not so much about the results. It's about getting through it, Core. That's what I'm impressed. Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
Just talk about it a little bit, man.
Yeah, you know what? I came up with this idea where I really couldn't find anybody that had done 3 events like this, and especially in one weekend. And so once the bodybuilding show I knew was set by this organization that was in my town, I made a call to a buddy and said, hey, will your CrossFit gym host an Olympic lifting meet? And we were already getting ready to put on a powerlifting meet at Old School. And I said, you know what? I think I can do them all in the same weekend. And started out on Friday night with snatch and clean and jerk, which is the Olympic lifting. I'm a novice at Olympic lifting, so I've only been doing it for about a year. I ended up snatching 185, just missing a 200-pound snatch, which would have been a PR for me for a body weight of 180. Then I ended up clean and jerking 250. I got done with that probably about, I would say maybe 7 o'clock on Friday night. Didn't get too beat up, but it was the first time I ever done it, so I was pretty nervous about it. Woke up the next morning. Well, first of all, when I finished the Olympic lifting meet, I took some some supplements to make sure that it would help dry out my water a little bit. It's called dandelion root. It's just an herbal supplement that helps you kind of dry out a little bit, so I could look a little leaner. Drank some coffee. Woke up 178 pounds. Jumped on the bodybuilding stage. Actually felt pretty jacked. I'm not going to lie. I actually looked better than I expected. I won my weight class. I think I got second in the overall.
Wait, you won your weight class? You won your weight class?
I won my weight class. Cheers. Yeah, so I got first place in my class.
Yep.
I got first place in my class. And then I think I got second overall. I got off the bodybuilding stage. Well, first of all, I knew I was going to be in the overall title. And usually when you eat carbs on that day because you haven't drank a lot of water, if you do it right, John, it'll pull the water from under your skin into your muscle, right? Mm-hmm. And so I knew the guy that I probably thought was going to win, but I have a shot if I get a little tighter. So I ate an entire box of Oreos.
Yeah.
And then a whole thing of Reese Cups, and it actually worked, right? So I started getting tighter and tighter, and I got up there, and I felt jacked. I ended up losing the overall still, but I got off the bodybuilding stage about 7 p.m. and then I had to start the powerlifting event Sunday morning at 8 a.m. I ate pizza, drank tons of Gatorade. Basically,
in all fairness, though, aren't these events that you do, aren't they tagged like natural bodybuilding?
Yeah. Everything I do is drug tested, and
That's
so
important to say, just because obviously, people sometimes get the wrong idea.
Yeah, everything. I actually took a piss test at the bodybuilding show. They drug tested me, so and I welcome that. So that was great. Got up in the morning. I was 12 pounds heavier from eating so much pizza, which is mostly water retention. And I will tell you, when I was warming up for my squats for the powerlifting meet, everything was hurting and I was feeling a little rough. I opened up at 405 pounds, and it was probably the slowest 405 squat I've done in my life. I walked over to the table and said, all right, let's go 440. I actually smoked that, and I said 480. And my buddy looked at me, and I said, fuck it. I should just do 500. And so I put 500 on, and I wrapped the shit out of my knees. Now, John, at our place, when you take the bar out, it's a monolift. So the thing just goes away, and then you just squat, and you don't have to move around.
Right.
Well, I took 500 off, and it almost fell off my back, so I took one step back.
Ooh.
So, because you can walk it out, so people thought I was walking out. I really wasn't trying to. I look up, and no lie, there's probably 200 people jammed in the gym. They got their cell phones up, and it's fucking just crowd stacked. And I just took a breath and just said, fuck it. And went, and when I came back up, I was about 3/4 of the way up, and literally my back started bending. And it was sure fucking will, dude. And I just put my tongue out like Jordan and just fucking grinded through it. It was epic. So 500-pound squat. I was really happy with that. 315 bench, 500-pound deadlift. It was a really good weekend, and I feel like you said, I wasn't breaking any world records, but I was proud to get through it. And now
Let me ask you, on that, after you do the 500, are you pretty much like, wow, that was awesome, it was a struggle, I'm not going to push it further, or do you take another stab at higher weight?
So you only have 3 singles. So I did 405, 440, 500. So you get 3 tries. And then it's on the bench. I did 280, 300, 315. And then you got 3 deadlifts. I went 430, 460, 500. So it was good. But either way, the muscle trifecta was conquered. And so thanks for all the support last week, John. I know I was very busy business partner mentally and physically, and so I appreciate the support from your side too. It was very, very good. So enough about me. We got to talk about sports now. I want to hear about this Triple G guy. You said that's a legit G in boxing. Let's talk about boxing, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, if anybody watched Gennady Golovkin, they call him Triple G, fight last night, smoked dude, knocked him out in the second round. He has 22 straight knockout finishes at middleweight. A lot of people I think he's the reason Mayweather, who managed his career strategically the whole way through, but I think that's the reason Mayweather retired, because Triple G and a Canelo Alvarez growing older were 2 fighters that were simply too much for an aging guy like him, and he really wanted to retire undefeated. So, Triple G went out last night, smoked the dude, and set up, honestly, a blockbuster fight. I mean, like I said, I'm still a huge boxing fan. There's just not a lot of good fighters, but now you have Triple G, and I think a lot of people know who Canelo Alvarez is.
Yep.
Such a tough kid. Fought Floyd, pretty tough when he was 22 or 23 years old. Floyd's very smart. He got that name out of the way when he was young. Fought him as a young buck, but now he's a monster, and so is Triple G. So I think that's a premium fight, like a Lennox Lewis kind of Holyfield 20 years ago type, that kind of premium fight.
Cool.
I mean, we're talking a really, really good fight. Obviously the weight classes are different, but it's nice to have boxing back, and also we had UFC 197, and John Jones returned, but he disappointed.
It was like wah. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, he kicked the dude's leg. He kicked OSP's leg for 5 rounds. He was, to say that he was conservative would be an understatement.
Yeah.
And I believe he was simply just overshadowed because Demetrius Johnson, who's you can argue is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world at this moment, made an example of Henry Cejudo. And if you look at Henry Cejudo on paper to Demetrius Johnson, and over St. Preux on paper to John Jones, John Jones should have a much easier time with OSP than Demetrius Johnson should with Cejudo, who's a gold medalist in the Olympics in freestyle wrestling.
Wow.
And DK ruined him in the first round, and it's because he is an ever-evolving mixed martial artist that can do it all. You don't know what's coming. You don't know the angle it's coming from. And I think Demetrius Johnson cemented last night that at this point in time, that he is the best pound-for-pound mixed martial artist in the world.
Do you believe he is, John?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because, when you think about fighting, I think about greats, and I've been in this game, man, since it began. Great fighters are fighters that you legitimately do not know what they're going to do when they get in the cage. For example, Pettis fought Barbosa last night.
Yeah.
It was a great fight, but everyone knew it was going to be a stand-up war, right?
It's a good matchup.
Right. Those guys stand and bang. Demetrius Johnson, you don't know if he's going to knock you out with hands. going to knock you out with kicks, if he's going to wrestle you the whole time, if he's going to, I mean, he does it all. And his transitions from one to the next are so fast. I mean, he took this guy out with clinch body knees, and he broke his ribs. I mean, he's just so unpredictable. And the game of fighting is all about preparation. Everybody states in their head, my opponent's going to do this.
Sure.
I need to be ready for this. So what makes someone great? What makes someone great is literally not having any clue what the hell they're going to do.
Yeah.
And them doing something different.
Element of surprise. So you believe he's got that right now?
Oh, I believe not only does he have it, but I think he's defended his title 9 times. And, like, no one's getting close, you know? No one's getting close. So I think the guy is, at this point, the best fighter in the world from a complete standpoint. Now, I've said John Jones is the best fighter ever in mixed martial arts. I believe he will retire that way.
Sure.
But at this point in time, I will take Mighty Mouse as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Do you think Mighty Mouse right now is better than Jose Aldo a few years ago?
Without a doubt. Jose Aldo could never wrestle like Mighty Mouse can strike now. Like to do a reverse analysis on it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You always kind of knew what Jose would come with, right?
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse, you have no clue what he's going to do. None.
Gotcha.
And he moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He's got the best cardio I've ever seen.
Well, let's talk. Now we're good on sports. Let's talk Game of Thrones. I know it's coming back on. You're a fan.
Oh man, yeah. Dude, Game of Thrones. Everyone listening is probably like, "Oh man, that was sick." Like that. It's the biggest show on TV. I think HBO told the guy who writes the show, "You're not writing fast enough, so we're going to start making our own shit up because we need to make money." I mean, it is such a blockbuster. You know, obviously there's numbers that you can compare movies to, right? It did this much in the box office, but I cannot imagine between HBO subscriptions to HBO streaming subscriptions to DVD sales to streaming sales that Game of Thrones grosses. But I would imagine it's up there with any movie, definitely bigger than any TV series. So the fact that it's coming back, I mean, there are people out there, Cory. There's a lot of people who literally, and this show has, I know you don't watch it.
No.
100 characters that literally can tell you, you know, from 100 different towns that can tell you people's names, their cousins. I mean, it is a big deal. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners are stoked that it's back.
Is it bigger than The Walking Dead?
Oh, I think undeniably it's bigger.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I better bring my TV game up, John.
Yeah, it's hard, dude. It's all about, you know, having that one Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just chilling with the fam and you can knock out 6 episodes or something. You know?
Yeah, binge watch.
Binge watch.
All right, hot seat time, John. I think our listeners liked it last week. So, 3 questions, me and you both. We'll fire back and forth. You want to start?
Yeah, let's do it, brother.
What do you got?
Cory, what was your first car that you drove? Not that you purchased, that you drove.
Oh, drove like I borrowed from my mom or just drove around in general?
Like, or maybe when you were 15 and you weren't supposed to, like the first car you drove.
So the first car I actually drove wasn't a car. I was probably 15. It was a farm truck. And it was a shift it was a freaking manual shift on the column.
Ooh, dude, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I basically just stalled it constantly. But, you know, where I'm from, like, they drive equipment way earlier because farm kids drive stuff around all over the place. So, you know, I worked on a farm baling hay when I was younger, and so I drove it on the column. The first car I actually drove was a Plymouth Sundance, which is a small kind of matchbox type of car. So those are the first 2 cars I drove. So,
number 2. When you were a kid, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 years old, what did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
So, you'll love this. In my town, there's still, and I still think to this day, there's one gas station that the guy still comes out and pumps your gas for you.
Okay.
Right? And so I thought that was the coolest thing ever when I was like 5 years old.
That's awesome.
So whenever people would ask me, I was like, I wanted to be the guy that pumped gas.
Sure. Only like a 5-year-old. That's what's so interesting about kids. Man.
Yeah. I
thought that
was the amazing job. Probably didn't know that. That was probably a curveball.
You're like, dude, I'm done with this shit. I'm gonna go pump some gas.
There you go.
Numero tres.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite place you've ever visited in the world?
Ooh, like traveled to?
Yeah,
in general.
Like, what's your favorite spot?
Interesting. I would say on my honeymoon, I did 10 days in Maui.
Okay.
And I got to say that, you're driving one way up a mountain that's just amazing.
Yeah.
And then you drive the other way and there's the ocean. You know what I mean? So I think it's like no matter where you look, it's just so breathtaking.
Yeah.
And I always say if it was just closer, I mean, it's a legit 10-hour, trip for me to go. It's like I could go to Europe to go there. You know what I mean? So it's like if I lived on the West Coast, I would be there way more often. I love Hawaii, and I think it's
epic.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I think it would be an amazing place like Hapa to grow up.
Oh yeah, and the people are very communal. They care.
Yeah.
And the people are what make it.
And then I would know Pigeon.
There you go, brother. How's that?
All right, I got some for you, Johnny.
What you got, bro?
So I noticed you got this fat watch on. Do you have a favorite watch that like every day you go to you go to pick and then you're like you can't pass up the one? Is there like a certain like timepiece that you love?
Yeah, without a doubt. I love this Breitling, just because when I look at if it was cheaper or if it was another name, I would still like it the most because I wear like a white gold. I really like white gold.
Mm-hmm.
This band, which is silver, matches the tone of the white gold. Mm-hmm. And then diamonds obviously go very smooth with it. So just the look of it, and then it's very hard to find a watch that's this big.
Yeah, it's got a huge face.
Watch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this watch without a doubt. I got about 4 other watches. I'm not really into leather bands. That's just not my style.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I think my take is if you're gonna wear jewelry, wear jewelry.
Yeah.
You know that's my thing.
All right, number 2. What's your tattoo mean? On your forearm.
Yep. Real power can't be given; it must be taken. It is a quote directly taken from The Art of War, the book that y'all have heard me reference probably 10 million times.
So when you read that quote, did you automatically know I'm going to put that on me? It was that meaningful?
No, I remember thinking about it. I thought about that quote for about a half hour straight. Like right when I read it, I'm like, real power can't be given, it must be taken. And then I thought about my life, how like, oh shit, okay, like anytime. And I'm not a power hungry person, but when you climb a ladder of sorts, you're gaining power. Now how you use it's up to you, but like, I'm like, it's true. Like, if you just give somebody a position, right? You just give somebody a CEO, and they haven't fought to get there, they ain't gonna be there long, right? Mm-hmm. You cannot give real power to someone. You have to take real power. You got to go get it yourself, and that's why I love it. And it's pretty much like if one sentence could sum me up, that's it.
Favorite golf course you ever played?
Oh, without a doubt, that one in Florida that I was going to take you to.
What's it called?
Oh my God, it's so amazing. What's it called?
Not Pebble.
No. It's God, it's amazing. There's 2 courses. I have.
It's all right. Google it, Johnny. Google it.
It's epic. Remember, I was going to.
I know. Yeah, I do remember that.
You and Brad there.
Yep.
Okay.
You played where on a regular though? Was it Turnberry? Where'd you play on the regular in Florida all the time?
Turnberry.
Yeah, that place is pretty amazing too, huh?
It is, but it's not. It's not. And this course is absolutely stunning. I'll just tell you right now. Okay. I cannot believe I can't.
So stunning. Johnny's
Stream
lost.
song. Stream song.
Stream
song. There's a red and a blue course. They're ranked number 15 and number 16 in the country right now publicly because they're only like 2 years old. It's on an old like quarry pit, and you literally because normal things don't grow there, you feel like you're in. It looks like Lord of the Rings, right? It looks like you're in New Zealand. Like every time you hit, there's nothing but a horizon. I mean, it is immaculate. There's a beautiful clubhouse, but yes, stream song, and it's I want to say it's about 30 miles from Tampa.
Okay, cool. All you golfers out there, check out Stream Song. That's good.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I want to roll to some questions. We got a couple really good questions from the Familia. So, Dr. Sass Squat CH says, Johnny, what is your 3 most important values?
Without a doubt, loyalty, because everybody claims they got it, and I could count on one hand the people I've come across in my life who have it. Honesty, without a doubt, that kind of goes hand in hand. But the truth, I tell people, there's a lot of people who are religious or spiritual or not. At the end of the day, I think we all can agree that like the truth should be our guiding light, right?
Oh.
Hopefully we can all agree on that.
Yep.
And then just respect, right? I'm not big on people who talk a certain way to other people because that person's their waitress or waiter. I don't like that bullshit.
Yeah, agreed.
You got to respect people. So honesty, loyalty, and respect. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know that I could think of any 3 better ones, Johnny. I would think that I always say that loyalty is extremely undervalued nowadays. I've seen it, even as much as it's a small thing, but I'd help a guy at the gym for a year or 2, and then there'd be a membership that's $10 cheaper, and he jumps right to that gym, and you're like, bro, I spent fucking 30 minutes helping you on your deadlift, and this guy's charging $10 less a month, and you go down there. Like, that kind of shit drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. I think respect of, like you said, is, I don't ever think I'm better than anybody else.
Right.
Now, I work for the things I got. That doesn't mean I think I'm better than you. Right. That doesn't mean maybe I just didn't hit a little bit of a luck curve here or there either sometimes. I mean, sometimes that happens too. Like, some things just go good for some people and others it doesn't. And then the vice versa. I've been on the opposite side of that before too. And so some people just assume if you're in a certain position, and I've had some of this happen lately, and I'm like, some guy emailed me the other day, this is interesting, and said, didn't you make enough money? Why are you emailing me? And I said,
what?
He's on my email newsletter. And I emailed him back, I said, it doesn't matter how much money I made. I have a trade, which is teaching people how to get better. And if you want to engage in that, that's great. And if you don't, then you don't have to. It was just really strange. He almost thought you know what I'm saying? It's some things like that. So that was something I ran into. And so to me, that's just that a respect thing, to some degree. It's just man.
It's an ignorant comment.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just ignorant. So I think that loyalty, respect, and honesty is obviously huge. Anytime you're in business, you got to have honest people. Just in life, you got to have honest people. My mom used to always say, she'd come downstairs and be like, do you like this dress? And I'd be like, not really feeling it, Mom. She's like, well, at least I'll always get the truth out of you, Cory. So, you know what I mean? So I think those 3 are really good. So that was a good lead on that, Johnny. Next we have Heather Jakes asks, is it better to focus on one thing and master it completely, or just be good at, or like a jack of all trades?
Well, I think that question probably you need Heather. I'm glad you're digging into this stuff, but I know we've talked about this before. Getting good at that one thing is mandatory before you get good at that second thing. So I'm not a believer that you can be a jack of all trades by saying, I'm going to study 10 things. I'm a believer in you can be a jack of all trades if you get really good at that one thing and move on to the second, and then the third after you master
one.
And I talk about that. That was the best lesson I ever learned from my first business lawyer. Was he told me, John, get good at selling T-shirts, because I was going to sell all this stuff and then move on from there. And so I always go back to that as advice, because it's great advice. So that would be my advice to her. How about you?
I mean, how many things can you truly be like a super G at? You know what I mean, John? I mean, that's a question,
Right.
kind of open-ended. I mean, because like you can only be like really good at a few things, I feel like, right? So I think like I always used to I was never like an exceptional basketball player, an exceptional baseball. But I mean, if we go bowling, I will try to compete again. If we go golf, like I'm okay at a lot of stuff, but I still think like business could be the same way. Like there's got to be something in your wheelhouse that you just fucking knock out of the park. And we've talked about this multiple times where I'd be like, dude, we have to delegate this. I'm not good at it. And I know it. So I'm not going to act like I am. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, but there's those, excuse me, if there's certain things I'm an A+ at, I might be a B- or B+ at other things. I can bring them up a little bit maybe. But I'm kind of a believer if you've got like 1 to 3 things, that might be it. I mean, that's right.
For sure. And then you have to think about your time and your personal bandwidth. And
yes,
like you just said, it's like, okay, I'm really good at these things. I want someone on my team, even if I'm a B, I want someone on my team that's an A.
Absolutely.
I'm a B at. Like, you know, you really can't build anything great just humping it yourself. It doesn't work that way, man.
Well, we talked about when we were building this new business, and I was like, you're like, dude, that's my area. I got that. And I know I'm really weak in that area, and that makes me happy. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like, that's the way that you can build a serious fucking company.
Right. You know what? Actually, I want to speak on that, because a lot of people, what they do is they grab onto a position or a title, and they don't understand that the way to truly, I believe, and I think we both believe, effectively run a business is like, hey, if you're a good negotiator, we want you doing all the negotiating. If you're a good branding and creative guy, you do all the branding and creative. If you're a taskmaster, we want you doing the operations. It's not just like, oh, you're the CEO, so you make the final say on everything. Yep. No, man, it's about wheelhouses.
Yes.
And too many people say, well, because I have the power to have the final say on this, I'm gonna. That's a stupid businessman or stupid businesswoman, because you know what I'm saying? You want all stars crushing it in those different verticals.
That's just to say, like when you build a business, you want an all-star team that has the wheelhouses that you don't.
Right.
So, and even if you are a B, having an A is still better if it's delegated.
And having an A+ is better than an A, and that's the game. I mean that's the fucking game. Getting better and better and better people.
So let's talk about some money, Johnny. I know you like talking money.
I like talking money, and we were talking before we got on about the markets, and you know, I know for most people, markets are very confusing. Here's what I'll tell you about the stock market, because I believe all you guys that work hard will eventually be in a position to where you're either investing in mutual funds or stocks directly. There's a reason the rich get richer.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, when a stock market crashes, the money that's being lost, it doesn't go presto. It doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere, right? So all the people that are losing it, someone's gaining it.
Yes.
Right? So
every time.
People never really think about that it doesn't go presto. So I am a firm believer in that when investing in the market, one, you must be agile, meaning you see a storm coming, you have to have the ability to hit a button and be liquid and have the ability to have cash. Mm-hmm. And The reason the rich get richer is because when the markets, because they're cyclical, they go like this. When they're at the bottom, people who have liquid, and they do this with the real estate markets as well, they buy
They're pushing the button.
Everything.
Yep.
They buy everything. And then that stimulates growth, and it goes back like this. So for all you guys that are eventually going to be investing in the markets, this is what I want you to do. I never, ever want you to emotionally buy stock, meaning, oh my God, that stock's flying up, dude. We got to buy it. No, if anything, you want to buy when people are like, oh my God, the stock market is so bad. You know, If you have the ability to sink your money in something for a period of time. But just be wary and understand how the rich keep getting richer. They get richer when things crash because that means the stock market is on sale and the real estate market is on sale, and that's how they plunder, dude.
If it's flying and you're buying in, you're already too late.
Exactly.
Right, John?
I couldn't agree more.
Everything I read has always been the rich dudes always make the money when it's on the lowest.
Exactly.
Especially utility stocks, big banks, things you know that are going to come back, like Exxon, things of that nature. They're always buying when that shit's low.
Well, think about a stock market crashing, right? So let's say the stock market drops 50% tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is McDonald's going to go away?
No.
Is ExxonMobil going to go away? Is Walmart going to go away? No, but their stock just went down 50%.
It's going to come back 50%. Yeah. Yeah. And so the problem is when everybody's getting all nervous, they're selling instead of buying.
Right. And that's why, you know, we always talk about separating emotion from business, and separating emotion from investing is huge, because if you turn on the news, oh my God, the stock market's good. Guess who wants you to be scared? The people who have all
the rich dudes.
The more scared you are, the more they can buy.
John, that's a good point, because you're really good at this, and it's something I'm trying to work on. How do you separate that so well? Business and emotion. How did you learn it?
I learned it. I got lucky. My first job, my first boss, the guy who owned the company, he literally, the little bit of time I spent with him, he just looked me in the eye and he's like, listen, all you young guys that produce, you're great, but the odds are that you guys are going to be fired, and I'm just going to find people to replace you. And I couldn't believe that somebody was talking about firing people who were doing well for them. But what he was doing was he was just talking in very real terms, in very unemotional terms.
Unemotional.
The reality of business.
Yeah.
And the reality is people aren't going to stick around. So guess what? He ain't going to blink if John Fosco, his young stud, his young producer, goes. He ain't going to blink. He's going to
care.
Another one of me.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. And so when I saw him like talk like that, it scared me. But then I thought about it. And I'm like, wait, this guy's got to grow his business with or without me. So that means he's got to grow his business with or without anybody.
Doesn't care.
A machine, and guess what? A machine is made of metal. A machine does not have emotions. A machine is just made of metal, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of where I got it. I got lucky to be in a very hardcore system. And Cory, the challenge is this. When you come from that kind of hardcore system, you are very hardcore on people.
Yeah.
Now, if I could take that mindset of being unemotional, but learn that people are still people when managing them, that's the perfect balance.
Yeah.
That's what you kind of lose when you gain what I gained.
I guess you could flip it around and look at it that way, huh?
Yeah.
Because then, like, most people are not going to be, like, you can't treat them like a machine. Does that make sense?
Right. You can treat me like a machine because I wanted to get that money, and I wanted to be like him. So I was one of the few that you could treat me like a machine. I'd be like, okay, motherfucker, I'm going to prove to you.
Yeah.
That's like we were talking about last week, right? Like, if people were like that, they don't work for you for long, because those are the entrepreneurs of tomorrow.
So it's like you have to be the machine, but you've got to pull it down because the the next level people, they ain't made of metal. They're made of,
Right. They're not made of metal, dude.
it's like plastic or something. I don't know what the answer is. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to articulate that, Johnny.
Yeah.
Real good. I learned something there.
Hey, man. Yeah.
Hey, well, we've been working on some branding stuff with Activ8 Media. You want to share with everybody kind of like a process that we've been doing for some, we've been doing for some businesses in general. So if you're listening and you believe you have this need, that we can help them, John.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about development and principles and all this stuff that is based in personal and business development on the show, but we don't talk about our business a lot. And our business is going through a very exciting period, right? We're very young. We're getting more and more clients, and we're developing our craft more. And a craft that we're getting extremely, extremely good at is branding and brand creation and web development, like front end web development. And we just had a client in kind of like the outdoor services business that we created a logo for. That all
crushed
I can
it.
say is when you get the kind of affirmation that we got from this guy's reaction, like holy shit, and this guy's happy to pay what he's paying us. Like I know, and I think Cory, it's something we both should be proud of. Like we're becoming a force to be reckoned with. In the branding world. So for all you guys listening, like if you own a business or you own a company or you know somebody like, and you don't have a real logo or real brand, like that shit matters so much.
So much.
Man, and it's like, come to us, like email activ8media.com and we'll quote you out. But, we're really good at building very functional, custom, fairly reasonably priced websites that look amazing. Take a look at ours. So our game is coming up hard, and I think we're just excited about it.
The Activ8 Media website is extremely, the navigation's great, user-friendly, high quality, and the back end is very usable for a small business to medium business. It's pretty cool. And we love the branding part. To sit in the war room and go over how can we make a person's brand speak to their customer better, look better in their marketplace, take their market share, and like this particular client, it looks pretty dope, man. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and I am too, and we're just letting you guys know. It's like, look at our brand, right? Look at our logo. Like we did that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're very proud of that. But
absolutely.
That's the level of branding that we come with. And this next project that we teased last week, our next business that you guys are going to have the ground floor look at. Yeah, we're collaborating with a world-class design house, but we're working hand in hand with them. So we got the chops. We're just bringing in hired guns to maybe tweak some new colors. But what we're coming with next, man, is going to stun people, bro.
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, dude. I can't even fucking wait. At the meet today, I was drinking our new stuff, and it was in a black bottle with just like
hint. Spoiler alert.
It just says pre-workout.
Oh,
hold on. We don't go anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so
the best pre-workout.
Yeah. Somebody was like, "What's that?" I'm like, "I can't tell you yet."
All we can tell you guys is it mixes and it tastes better than anything you've ever touched. Thanks to Cory.
It's really good. So, all right, let's hit.
I don't know what you're talking about though. What
are we talking about? What are we talking about? All right, couple more things. I want to give a fitness tip real quick, Johnny.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. With going through this muscle trifecta this weekend, I always talk about, people having a date on a calendar. That's the thing we've talked about on the show multiple times. I've talked about it in my book. I've talked about it, but like having something in front of you is so big. Like I will be honest, multiple times this weekend, my body wanted to give up. Multiple times, dude. But because the things were like in stone and I was made to be there, made to perform, the body literally was a servant to my mind. And I mean, John, when I took that 500-pound squat, like, honestly, on any other given day, if there's no crowd, there's nobody there, and I would have done that bodybuilding show, I probably wouldn't even have squatted 300 pounds today. I literally think it was that big of a difference.
Sure.
But because there was 100 people with their cell phones out, and I was, on display, and I had that date, I just can't urge people enough, man. They got to put some urgency around their training and stuff. And it just, man, it was a big deal for me, and it pushed me to be better. No, I mean, I literally think this weekend, numbers aside, pictures aside, like, I'll talk about that accomplishment until I pass. I'm really proud of it. So.
And you should be, because like you said, when you set a hard deadline on yourself, you are saying to everybody, I'm making myself publicly accountable.
Yes.
And that makes you vulnerable. That makes you potentially weak. That makes you potentially look stupid. But you have the ability to rise to the occasion. Are you gonna?
And that's what I wrote about in my book. That's what I tell my guys that are working under us. That's like, be a fucking gamer. And that's what I thought. Like, my body feels like shit. I did pretty good on the bodybuilding show, but you know what? I got up today to deliver the last leg of the trifecta, and I really wanted to squat 500 pounds because to me, that's what felt fucking legit. And dude, when I was coming up out of that thing, I was ready literally to hang my spine on the platform and not give up. I was really to that level. Like, that's why I like Louis Simmons so much. He's like, look.
Oh, Louis.
He's like, it'll take me to a chalky death someday. I literally felt like there was no fucking possible way that I was giving up. I loved it. So anyway, John, did you have anybody hit you up this week with some of the past podcasts about some things they're battling?
Yeah, on the addiction front, guys, I think, I think one thing that I'd like to touch on this week is for those who have not experienced it, who are around people or are questioning whether or not someone is addicted. Here's what I want you to understand. Somebody like myself, and there's a lot of other people out there who have been sober for 10 plus years, less or more. If you've ever been addicted to something and you're clean, it doesn't matter. This is the truth. And this is the truth. You could talk to anybody. And I want you guys to understand this. There is not a night that goes by that I don't want to get high. There's not a night that goes by. You are an addict. Once you're an addict, you're an addict, right?
It doesn't go away.
No, the thought of that feeling is like a button that makes your problems disappear and everything feel great. And it's not like when you get clean, you forget about it. But the mantra to staying clean, and this is just good information for anybody who's in or around people who are struggling, is like, every day is a battle, right? You gotta win. You gotta win today. You gotta win today. Then you gotta win tomorrow. And if I ever looked at it like, oh, I'm gonna be clean for 10 years, no, I'm gonna be clean today. I'm not gonna surround myself with the people that might have it. So these are things, and these are tools that I want to educate parents with, that I want to educate brothers with, that I want to educate mothers, sisters, and cousins with. That, these people who are doing these crazy things that you're angry at, that you're pissed at, that your heart is breaking for, I want you to understand them better. And if and when they get clean, when you help them do that, understand that every night, every day, they're going to want to get high. So as opposed to, not knowing that, know that and talk to them about it. The best thing you can always do, guys, is talk to somebody about what they're actually feeling. If you say that to somebody who's got a problem, their eyes are going to light up and be like, how'd you know? Because here's the truth. Because it's okay. It's okay that you want to get high. But we're going to work together, bro, because I love you, and you're not going to. We're going to go see a movie tonight. We're going to go work out tonight.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to say. And as opposed to taking specific incidents, Cory, as I'm getting so many of these comments, I just, I was talking to my dad the other day, I just think the most important thing right now, because people are dying, is providing tools for friends and family members
Yeah.
to be a little bit more effective in helping.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Johnny, I think it was a phenomenal episode, man. We hit a lot of different points. I want to tell everybody to make sure, give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Make sure you leave us a positive comment. Text your homeboy this episode from YouTube.
YouTube channel is on fire.
YouTube channel is on fire, and we're going to release some new shows this week. Like, John and I are just having a blast developing people. I mean, look, like we said before, we were building our website, and we talked, and we said, let's start a podcast in the meantime. Now we've got a whole strategy that we're
100,000 listeners later.
Yeah, it's doing really well, and I enjoy it, and I learn something every week. I mean, by dealing with you, John, it brings out stuff in both of us. It's been great. So wrap us up, buddy.
Yeah, guys, I think this was a special episode because Cory did something that most of us, almost all of us, aren't willing to do, and that's holding himself accountable to something that he knew would better him publicly. So all of us are not going to go and be able to do what Cory did, but what we can do is we can challenge ourselves in other ways.
Yep.
And I think for each individual, you can dictate how you can challenge yourself. But listen, everyone watching and listening, including myself, including Cory, wants to continue to get better.
Yep.
So let's think about, okay, we're not going to come up with it immediately, but let's think about how, like Cory, we could challenge ourselves to be publicly accountable to something and have the ability to step up and seize the day like Cory did. Because like Cory will attest to, not only will he talk about it to the day he dies, I'm sure he felt
no question.
alive, and I'm sure you feel very accomplished. So I know, speaking for myself and Cory, that's what we want for you guys. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Obviously, you tuned in to Activ8 Radio. We are Activ8 Media, and let's work our asses off this week. And we're going to see you on Friday, boys and girls.
Wake your ass up!